The Magna Carta, which is Latin for Great Charter, is the oldest set of codified rights in the English-speaking world. Created in June 1215, it was a system of laws and guaranteed rights meant to preserve the people and the government from the tyrannical rule of King John. Then in 1764, the unthinkable occurred. Stay tuned. July 4th is just days away, and in this episode of Harvest, we will discuss revolutionary tea, lessons from the Magna Carta.
Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
The French and Indian War was also known as the 7 Years' War, and it was a major defining moment in the fate of North America. By 1754, 60,000 French citizens called North America home, in comparison to 2 million British citizens. The war would determine who North America ultimately would be governed and owned by: France under King Louis XVI, or Britain under King George III. The various native tribes sided with both the French and the English. Ultimately, Britain won, gaining all the land east of the Mississippi, most of Canada, a majority of the Caribbean, and Florida. Western portion of the Louisiana Territory from the Mississippi River to as far west as Colorado was ceded to the French. Under financial duress caused by this war of empire expansion, British Parliament enacted the Stamp Act and a few years later, the Townshend Act upon the American colonists.
While Parliament and the Crown have the right to enact laws that govern their peoples and territories, and even collect taxes, they did so at the detriment to those not directly given a voice in Parliament. This so riled up the good British subjects in America, something had to be done about Parliament's overreaching abuse and disregard of the Magna Carta.
What is fascinating is at the time revolutionary thoughts were being planted into the minds of British subjects in America, the British Parliament was also in the process of unraveling its own fundamental document of government, the Magna Carta.
In a series of heated debates that would last 63 years, men such as Sir Francis Burdett argued that the Magna Carta could never be repealed because it was so fundamental to the British psyche and way of life.
Yet by 1828, during the reign of King George IV, the first clause of the Magna Carta was officially repealed by British Parliament, and by 1969, under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, only 3 of the clauses were left standing. The song Revolutionary Tea was penned at an unknown time. It mythically depicts Great Britain as a bloated, greedy mother who preys on her young daughter's innocence and newfound fortune, and also an ensuing spat.
An old lady lived over the sea, and she was an island queen. Her daughter lived off in a new country with an ocean of water between. The old lady's pockets were full of gold, but never contented was she. So she called on her daughter to pay her a tax of 3 pence a pound on her tea. Of 3 pence a pound on her tea. Now mother, dear mother, the daughter replied, I shan't do the thing you ask. I'm willing to pay a fair price for the tea, but never the 3-penny tax. You shall, quoth the mother, and redden with rage, for you're my own daughter, you see. And sure 'tis quite proper the daughter should pay her mother a tax on her tea, her mother a tax on her tea. the old lady her servant called up and packed off a budget of tea. And eager for 3 pence a pound she put in, enough for a large family. She ordered her servants to bring home the tax, declaring her child should obey. For old as she was and almost woman grown, she'd half whip her life away. She'd half whip her life away. The tea was conveyed to the daughter's door, all down by the ocean side. And the bouncing girl poured out every pound in the dark and boiling tide. And then she called out to the island queen, "Oh mother, dear mother," quoth she, "your tea you may have when 'tis steeped enough, but never a tax from me, oh never a tax from me."
The cut between mother and daughter was so deep that it remained unhealed until 1941 and was brought to restitution because mother finally recognized her daughter's superiority, and mother desperately needed the daughter's help during World War I. However, it is important to take note that it took a total of 165 years to heal this breach. Today, mother and daughter act as though there has never been a rift, aside from the occasional jabs at each other on the 4th of July, when Americans celebrate their independence, and the Brits teasingly refer to it as Rebellion Day. I know, it can be discouraging to see long-held beliefs and cultural norms eroded, yet we know that joy comes in the morning. In the book The Great Controversy Between Christ and Satan, Ellen White was inspired to write the following.
Satan will then plunge the inhabitants of the earth into one great, final trouble. As the angels of God cease to hold in check the fierce winds of human passion, all the elements of strife will be let loose. The whole world will be involved in ruin more terrible than that which came upon Jerusalem of old.
As Christians, our window of opportunity is shortening. The time is now. All empires before America rose and fell, and America is now on the decline, and she's not going to be brought back to her former glory, and all the governments in the world will be dragged down in her wake. If you can think the Constitution can't be abjured, just look to the Magna Carta. You see, freedom is surely at stake, but it's not temporal freedom that we are concerned with. The freedom from slavery to sin is what is paramount. We have reached the very edge of the toenails in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Jesus is coming. The news buzzword is woke. Jesus, too, is pleading with you today to wake up. Realize where you are in the stream of time. Share your belief with your neighbors, your co-workers, to every kindred and nation. You may not be able to go far, but you can go near. Earth's final hours are upon us, and our temporal freedoms to share our belief and personal knowledge of Jesus will soon be taken away from us. May it not be laid to your charge by family, friends, acquaintances you knew and you didn't tell us.
This has been a presentation of Harvest with your host, Dr. Michael John Cookenmaster. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Like, comment, and share. See you next time.